Hey there.
Irene, how are you?
I am so good. How are you doing, Brian?
Fine. It's only been what, 6 years, 7 years now since we've
Way too long, other than Facebook and a few text messages and DMs.
yeah. So the first thing I want to do is just how we met back in 2015. My boss at the time, he had gone to your mortgage marketing animals seminar in Florida and
Uh-huh.
said it wasn't really for him, but he thought it might be something that I would be interested in. So myself and my brother flew down to Clearwater area,
Yep.
Dunedin,
I
and
still remember it.
yeah, yeah. I don't think you could miss either one of us, but it was life changing. And then you guys offered the opportunity to get coaching,
Yes.
and I thought that that was a wonderful opportunity. And I think a lot of people are hesitant to invest in themselves, but it's the best thing I've ever done. And part of the reason I wanted to talk to you is because I wanted to give you your flowers because you've led me, even though we haven't really seen each other in a while, we've kept in communication. But you're responsible for me living my best life right now.
Aw, that's so nice of you.
Yeah, so yeah, one of the first things you had me do, one of the first exercises, it must have been session 1 or 2, maybe, was my why and where do I want to be in 5 years.
Hmm.
So we started in January of 16, right? And we would do, what was it, every other week?
Yes, every other week.
Every other week, you give me, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes maybe, something like that.
Yep, it was.
And part of that whole why was I wanted to be in Florida. At the time, it was Miami, but I was had a real estate relationship with a good friend of mine who was a property manager, Paula Mori. Hello, Paula. And I was trying to get there, and I think maybe that was one of the first signs that you said you may not be at the right place.
Yep,
Would that be accurate?
that was accurate.
Yeah, and as lighthearted and warm as you look, you can be direct, which is good, which is what I need, and which is what I loved about being coached by you. But when you have a relationship, it wasn't just an employer; it was a good friend, and I was very hesitant.
Yes.
And you probably get that a lot at that part of your coaching stage, right?
Yes.
And for those who are maybe feeling stuck or maybe not know that they're stuck, what are some of the telltale signs?
Well, if you can't do the things at the company you're at that are going to propel you to the next level that we're asking you to do, and your company is not cooperating, they're not allowing you to do that, or there's too many rules and regulations or things like that, that's a sign. But we don't want people to leave their
Right,
companies, of course.
right,
And I would never encourage that unless I was seeing that it's holding you back.
right. And it took me a while, uh, number one, to see it,
Hmm.
then to address it, and then to take action. And you never wavered. You just kept hitting me right between the eyes, saying, and it's not a bad thing. It's like some people, there's people that are going to get you from A to B, but then it may be a different set of folks who get you from B to C. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And ironically, um, you were coaching someone who is now my boss, Andre.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but yeah, he was one of your students before me, and maybe we overlapped a little bit. But
Yes.
I had no idea at the time that he would become my boss. And there were so many uh, events that happened then. A good part of it was bad. I lost focus, and then I end up in St. Petersburg, Florida, which part of it was when Megan Andre wasn't the one that was recruiting me. Actually, it was actually Megan, his partner, and one of the loan officers, and Megan and Andre, I think they met at the Mortgage Marketing Animals,
Yes,
and
I think so.
Yeah, and for those that there might be some loan officers out there that may be just getting started. Explain what that was and what that organization does, and the Freedom Club, which is the coaching part of it.
Yes. So Mortgage Marketing Animals is a great group of people that Carl White and Tammy Schneider started many years ago. I was their client that's how I met them, was I was their client, and they provided a great website and great support and just amazing, amazing events. And so I connected with Carl on that, but they didn't have a one-on-one coaching program yet. And so I approached Carl and Tammy and said, I would love to coach loan officers. It's what I know. And so what do you think if we got together and started a coaching, one-on-one coaching part of Mortgage Marketing Animals? And at first, Carl was a little hesitant, but I said, hey, I know it's going to work, Carl. And so he said, okay, put something together and let me know. So there was a lot of fear involved on my part. I was fear of getting rejected, fear of him saying no, a lot of fear that I had to work through. So for the next 3 months, I put together the DSP, the Daily Success Plan, and the program. And I showed it to him and he said, okay, let's give it a try. So we tried it with, started out with 6 people that didn't pay anything. And we did it as a beta test group and got amazing results in 90 days. So their pipeline grew and all the stuff that we were having them do, it helped them and they grew. And so Carl said, I'm in, let's do it. So that was 11 years ago.
Yeah, and at the time, there were so many people who do what we do, and kind of control freaks. So we would be doing the whole loan process from the application, document collection, getting conditions, getting it to the closing table. And because we're 100% commission, so we never wanted things to go south. So we had a tendency to try to do everything. But
Yes.
with Mortgage Marketing Animals, which was the aha moment and the tipping point, was let's work to your strengths and let's have you doing the high return activity of making it rain, going out and getting meetings, part of your daily success plan. And even though it's scary, financially and mentally, to delegate and maybe commit some money to hiring an assistant, maybe it could be a virtual assistant, take some of the things off your plate that's time consuming and not really producing revenue for you. And I thought that was just genius.
Yes. And boy, does it work, because you can't do it alone. If you really want to grow your business, you have to have help.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought, like, when you said that you really are going to double, triple, quadruple your business, I wasn't sure. But now, fast forward, and all the heavy hitters have a team, right?
Yes. Yes, they do.
And so you've taken the coaching to a whole nother level where it's essentially how to build a team. And the name of it is Loan Team Training, correct?
Yes, Loan Team Training. And they can go to loanteamtraining.com to see exactly what we offer. But we have 3 different classes there. And so as I was coaching people, I saw a need for the team to be trained because they don't have time. Loan officers don't have time to train their team. And what I was looking for was a way to get them up to speed with what we were doing in the Freedom Club, like getting their buy-in, their team, to learn how to communicate the way we were communicating, how to treat people, how to have processes and systems, things like that. We're not teaching them about loans, so to speak, like an
Right.
FHA or a VA loan. It's more about communication, about mindset, about being on the same page as the loan officer, serving the clients the way the loan officer wants to serve them. So our client is really the loan officer, because the loan officer typically are the ones that send their team to the training.
Right. I'm glad you specified that. And so let's dig a little deeper. The 3 types of training. Now you have the WOW training workshop. Talk about that.
Yeah. So the WOW training workshop, it's a live virtual workshop on Zoom, just like this. And everybody has to have a video and audio on, so they're interacting. We used to do it live in 2019, but in 2020, we went to virtual. Well, actually at the end of 19, we went to virtual, thank goodness, ahead of time.
Right.
But what it does is we talk with the teams of the loan officers. The loan officers don't go to that class because we want it to be it's not, as soon as loan officers are involved, it becomes a sales class, right?
Right.
And so this is more of teaching them how they can still ask for business on the loan officer's behalf, how they can use the loan officer's name when they're talking to the clients, and everything is about the loan officer and supporting them and how they can be a great team and have a great culture and communicate really well with the clients on behalf of the loan officer. So typically, there's anywhere from a few people. I've had as many as 50 people in a class, in 2020, but we really go deep, and it's what it is we're teaching them how to communicate, how to follow up, how to get documentation in a way that's much easier. We're trying to give them systems and processes that help them to wow people. That's the whole purpose, from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yeah, because there are so many steps, and there's also so many pieces to the puzzle that you have to have all coordinated. And if you can streamline that, it makes it a pleasant experience for the client, which I assume is the goal.
Yes. And so what we do is it's a 10-hour course, but we don't do it all in 10 hours because that's too long for people to be on a Zoom meeting. So we do it on a Thursday and a Friday, 2.5 hours each of those days, 2 weeks in a row. Typically it's 2 weeks in a row. And so they have some time to implement in between. We give them homework, not too much homework, but enough homework. And then we give access to the workbook to them and to the loan officer who sent them. Now, if they want to send themselves, of course they can send themselves, but typically it's the loan officer that brings them. But that doesn't mean they can't sign up on their own if they want to.
Right. And you probably get more candor if the loan officer isn't there.
Yes, that's one of the reasons we don't have the loan officer as well, is just there's more candor. They are able to discuss things. When you went to the Freedom Club meetings and everyone got together and discussed stuff, and it was like-minded individuals talking, the loan partners and the team members, they don't have those types of things that they could talk. They have only the people on their team or in their company, but it's kind of nice for them to share with each other some of the ways that they work, some of the things that help, and they're sharing just like the Freedom Club members share. So
best practices. Yeah, best practices. And it's a peer group. And that's, for me, I'm humble enough to know that I don't know everything. And why not learn from the best and those that it's working for? Right. So the second one is the client conversion training.
Yes. And that was designed. My son is actually a loan partner that converts the clients for the loan officer.
Kenny, what's up, Kenny?
Yeah, you know Kenny.
Yes.
Yeah, you knew him when he was an originator, right?
Yeah, young, got into business early. Good for him.
Yeah, thank goodness. So he does that part of and he came up with that course, and we came up with it together, but he did most of it, and he teaches a lot of it, and I'm on it with him, and he teaches people how to convert better. We start with mindset. Of course, everything we do has mindset in it. Mindset. We talk about all the different things that it takes to convert. We give them tools of how to convert. I mean, it's an amazing course. I have not seen that course anywhere else that I know of. It's specifically teaching them how to convert. So we use, he gives them all kinds of tools. We talk about Mortgage Coach, those types of things that really help. We're not paid by Mortgage Coach or anything, but we're big believers in it, and things like that are really, really helpful tools. But how to talk to clients, how to, what emotional intelligence is, and things like that they just need training on how to convert better. And it's that we do get loan officers, some newer loan officers, or some loan officers that have been in it for a while. They've come in and joined us, and also loan partners who do that job, or someone they want to train to do that job better. Maybe they've been a loan partner for a while, and now it's time to step up and start doing the consultations.
Right. Well, I tell you, I'm happy to hear that you endorse Mortgage Coach, because I don't get paid by them either, but I tell my clients all the time, they've saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And it kind of separates you from the commodity of interest rates.
It really does. It is such a great tool. People are impressed by it all the time. You use video with it, and you're just explaining to clients their options, and it does it in a visual way, and it hits all of the different type of personalities.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then the third component you have is the loan assistant bootcamp.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That's for people that are newer to the loan business, or they've been in the business for a little bit, but they really never got trained the right way. This actually teaches them how to take an application, how to do an FHA, a VA, a conventional, a USDA. We do go through all of the basic guidelines, teach them about pricing. I mean, everything A to Z that a new loan officer or loan partner needs to know to learn about the business and how to do a loan.
Right.
All of that we teach them. Plus, it has a bonus section where we talk about how to be a great loan partner to your loan officer.
Right. And tell me if this is accurate, but don't you think that in order to get to the point where you need a team, or you want a team, or you should implement a team, you should have been getting down into the nuts and bolts, either being a processor, a loan officer assistant, maybe even an underwriter, where you're learning the business first and then moving to the next level. Is that pretty
as a loan officer, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. It's good to know what you're doing when you become a loan officer.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get in the business and you're not going to have a team. Like there's just so many nuances to the whole process that someone needs to learn, and it takes some longer than others. I know we have a guy that really just took off, and he was probably ready to have a team in 3 or 4 months, which is, really learning the business fast and really digging in. So you started doing this what year? With the
whole company, or just this class?
Yeah, with the training, your company loan team training.
Yes, we started in January of 2019.
19, okay. Yes. So, and how many? Let's see, how many loan officers, loan assistant? How many people do you think you have helped?
Oh, we've helped over 1,000. We've helped over 1,000 loan partners, team members. Yeah, over 1,000.
So where do you see? I'm going to throw at you what you said to me. in 5 years, where do you see the company?
Oh my goodness, I have so many ideas of what I want this company to develop into.
Right. Give me one.
I see in 5 years. You mean like numbers, or are you talking about like how many people I want to help?
No, like what? How can you expand like the 3 tenets of what you're doing now? What other types of training do you think would be helpful for a loan officer that could utilize your services?
Well, as far as training goes, I think the 3 classes we have now cover most of it, but I do want to start possibly training like a virtual assistant, how to do that job.
Yeah.
How to be a great virtual assistant.
Oh,
how to be
awesome.
a great marketing assistant. How to, those types of things are classes that we want to add into it.
Right. So what about, we're more mortgage specific, but some of the things that you teach, I'm sure, are transferable to any type of industry.
Yes, they are. That is another piece that I was just going to say is we want to go into different areas of business, because what we're doing, what we're teaching, it is mortgage related in our class now, but we can change that into any type of business can benefit from the WOW training. They can definitely benefit, and the mindset training, and those types of things, emotional intelligence, and how to deal with people, how to communicate. All of those things are transferable to any business. So we are looking at progressing in that area as well.
Yeah, emotional intelligence. I actually, I became aware of it in the mid '90s from Oprah, and a good friend of mine, Kelly Frager, teaches about emotional intelligence, and I think it's so underappreciated in any business or any interaction, really, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing if you understand how people work and how to utilize your emotions and how to help manage your emotions and helping other people manage theirs, and getting to know how people are and getting to understand who you're working with. That's so key to customer service, to the WOW experience.
Right. Do you follow Daniel Goleman, the guy who?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He wrote the book on emotional intelligence, right?
You're not even my coach, and you're still coaching me because just by osmosis. I'm out there learning. It's for people who feel stuck. I just haven't been through it. Don't be scared to take the leap to hire a coach. Especially, I think people who are maybe in the 40 to 55 range, where you're still in your prime earning years. And it may
Yes.
even be one of those things where maybe it's not even the right industry. We talked about the right company, but maybe it's a different industry that people
Yes.
should be exploring, because it gets to be about quality of life. And, like I was lucky enough that, even though I didn't know that I was going to be, underneath Andre, to know that he was learning from mortgage marketing animals and implementing things. And I know to this day, I use so many of the things that you taught me and Carl taught me, and I still follow Carl. I still get your information via email. So, I'm still cherry picking, and just some of those things that you taught, not everything, because so many loan officers are different, but there are some like foundational baseline things that every loan officer should have in their system. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's pretty much, if you want your business to grow, there's three basic things that you need to do. You need to be deepening, getting to know agents that are, that have the business to send you. Every agent is important, but the ones that have the business to send you should be hearing from you more often.
Right.
And then that's important. And then reaching out to past clients, reaching out to people that are in your current pipeline regularly every week, and deepening those relationships, getting to know them well, and not just treating them like a number, but getting to know them well and really caring about them when you call them, and then asking them, who do they know? Right. So that you can get more referrals that way. And then the second thing to do is to meet with people who can refer you, meet with agents, with clients, with other business owners who can refer you. Attorneys, financial planners, accountants, people who have the business to refer you. And then the third thing is writing handwritten, personalized note cards. That's important. Yep. That's the daily success plan in a nutshell right there. Those three things.
Yeah, it works. And, there's people who are, doing much better than even I am, but I know I've been able to stay in this business because it is a tough business. And I think it's because of my database, and this year I've made a concerted effort to go deeper instead of broader.
That's great.
So yeah, that's kind of been the goal, and keeping in contact more, because when I look at my numbers, 90 to 95% of my referrals come from my database.
I could see that. I could
Yeah,
totally
I'm coming
see
out
that.
of my shell, Irene.
Yeah, you never were in a shell, Brian.
Well, I got to tell you, so like I said, we had this 5-year plan, and I got sidetracked so badly, it almost just was out of my head, that I set a 5-year goal to be working from Florida. And even when I moved to Florida, it wasn't until a year later because I kept saying, yeah, I wish I'd moved here earlier. I wish I'd moved here for a year of living here. And then all of a sudden I did the math, and I said, wait a minute. I got here in 4 years and 10 months.
That's
exactly.
Amazing.
And that, when I realized that, is when I reached back out to you to thank you, because, we worked together for a year. But as a teacher, and this goes for any teacher, teachers need to know how they impact people's lives. So I wanted to make sure, not just the phone call, but I also wanted to get this Zoom meeting so that I can give you your flowers, and you can talk about what you're doing, continuing to change people's lives for the better, because that's what it is. And don't be modest about it, because that's what you've done. And it feels like it's rewarding, and it gets back to, if you're feeling stuck, the first thing you should do is look into getting a coach. Right?
I agree. I think everybody needs a coach. Everybody, right. Even coaches need a coach. Right?
Do you have a coach?
Carl? Yeah, I do have a coach.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that Carl though?
Yeah. No, Carl coaches me too. I mean, he helps me out. Yeah. But I have another coach she's actually a friend of mine. And I said, you're such a great coach. Will you coach me? And she has coached me. Yeah. So I got several different coaches throughout the years.
Yeah, you got to be humble enough to say, I need coaching and I need to,
Yes.
there's so much more that I need to learn. And now that
Well,
I'm in St. Pete, I ride my bike a lot and I've actually been in Carl's neighborhood. And I promise that I'm going to give him a heads up next time I go up there because
you need to.
yeah, it's about a 40 something mile ride for me to get there. So I'm
Yeah.
going to give him
Well,
a
he
heads up.
rides every morning, He
Well, he has his
rides.
motorcycle. I'm on
No,
the
no,
bicycle.
no.
Oh,
He's been cycling, riding. He rides. I couldn't tell you how many miles it is, but it's hours every single morning.
oh, well then we definitely, yeah. I'll make sure to reach out
He
for that.
does. He
Uh,
rides it. But two things I wanted to say though, Brian. Number one is, in sports, because you're who you are in sports. Everyone knows Brian, right? Yeah. And
maybe
and you know that everyone needs a coach. That's
yes, yes,
that you have a keen understanding of that. So that's one thing. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that you are amazing at building and strengthening relationships. Anyone that knows you knows that that's how you are. That's who you are. That's how you are. And you're so good at that. And that's why you're doing so well, because you've leaned into that with your clients and with people and you're not afraid to ask. I hope you're not
no,
afraid to ask for referrals, because you're helping people when you do that.
yeah.
You're
I've
helping
gotten
them
better
have
at it. Yeah,
having an amazing experience when you
yeah,
ask. And a
yeah.
lot of people don't get that. They don't understand that when they ask, they don't want to be salesy or make it sound like they're a salesperson or whatever. Well, you know what? We are salespeople. That's that's what
Yeah,
we do, right? But
yeah.
we help people when we ask for referrals. We help them because they're going to get an amazing experience.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I learned from you is like it's not really a sales call if you're offering help to somebody. You're gonna,
Yes.
you're doing something for someone. And I think it was maybe last year, the year before, when Andre was really beat me up about that. Like, ask for the business because for so long I just assumed people knew what I did, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
you dummies. No, they just think you're a ward of the state or something like that. So if people would love to utilize your knowledge and wisdom in the mortgage business, loan officers, processors, how would they get in contact with you?
So they can email me at irene@loanteamtraining.com, or they can go to talktothetrainers.com if they want to set up a consultation to talk about our classes. And our website is loanteamtraining.com. And we
Well,
also have a podcast, which
oh,
is
yeah.
Loan Officer Team Training Podcast.
And that is wherever podcasts can be, whatever service
Yes.
you use, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I did not realize you had the podcast, and shame on me. So I will add that because when I'm cycling, that's what I'm doing. I listen to, Dave Savage four times a week on my
Uh-huh.
bicycle ride. So just gonna add you to that. And I know Carl has one too. And
Yes.
that's one that I listen to. So that's just one more. Because again, you can never learn enough.
Yes. And since if there's anyone that is interested in any type of coaching that is not involved in the mortgage industry, reach out to me.
Oh, I love that offer. Thank you so much. Because I do have friends that talk to me because I tell the story all the time about how I got down here. And it starts with I had a business coach in January of 2016 and it changed my life. So again, I
So
bow
sweet
down
of
to
you.
you.
You are so sweet, Brian. I appreciate you having me on today. And I'm so proud of you. You have really just hit your goals and did what you want, regardless of whether you feel like you got off track for a while. You've hit your goal. You're living in Florida. And I'm just so grateful that you reached out to me.
No, thank you so much. And yeah, just know you are impacting lives, and just like teachers and sports coaches, that you are the saints. So I
Well,
want
thank
you
you
to know
so
you
much.
appreciate it because you probably don't hear it all the time. So thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
taking the time. I really
That
appreciate
means
it,
a
Irene.
lot to me.
All
All
right.
righty.
All the
You too,
best.
Brian.
Thank
Okay, you
you.
too.